General Hospital, May 23, 2025. Secrets, spirals, and shattered bonds. Port Charles is no stranger to secrets, but what unraveled during and after the nurses' ball on May 23 was not just another night of glitz and glamour. It was a seismic shift, personal lives exposed, relationships tested, and truths surfacing at the worst possible time. From Giovanni Palmieri's world being torn apart to Lucy Coe's unraveling backstage, this was the night the curtain lifted on far more than just performances. Giovanni Palmieri had stepped onto the stage of the nurses' ball with the same quiet grace that had made him the talk of the Corinthos and Quartermain circles in recent months. The young violinist, still glowing from the buzz of his debut, had no idea that just steps away, the ground beneath him was ready to collapse. The trigger came from behind a closed dressing room door, raised voices, accusations, and one name repeated with intensity, his own. Lulu Spencer, once silenced by trauma, had returned to Port Charles with more than healing in her heart. Her voice, sharp and emotionally charged, was the one Gio should never have heard. She wasn't supposed to say it, not like that, not in public, and especially not with the fragile truth just inches from Giovanni's ears. But she did. The confrontation between Lulu and Lois Cerullo wasn't meant for an audience. Least of all, the one person whose life would be upended by it. Gio froze outside the door, piecing together the fragments of a conversation never intended for him. That he wasn't Camilla and Francis Palmieri's biological son was news enough, but to learn it in such an unfiltered, humiliating manner left him hollow. That Lulu had been holding the secret, perhaps even longer than Lois, only made it worse. The betrayal was layered. Lois, who had always offered him warmth, Dante Falconeri and Brook Quartermain, who now stood as uncertain pillars in his collapsing reality, and Lulu, the catalyst in this avalanche of pain. Inside the ballroom, the music faded, and laughter dulled. Sonny Corinthos, ever the observer and protector, immediately sensed the shift. When Olivia and Ned approached with confusion etched on their faces, Sonny cut to the chase. He was convinced Lois knew far more than she'd ever confessed. And while Olivia hesitated, Ned's expression darkened. There were implications here, not just familial but potentially legal. Sonny's relationship with Lois was already complicated by shared history. Now, it stood on a precipice. Could he forgive the woman who may have allowed a boy he could have claimed as family to grow up without the truth? Meanwhile, the emotional chaos threatened to cascade beyond Gio's revelation. Jason Morgan received an urgent, cryptic phone call. The voice on the line was direct, even desperate. "I need you," it said. The caller wasn't identified, but Jason's reaction spoke volumes. Something was unfolding, something that would pull him out of the shadows and back into Port Charles's tangled web. Was it Michael Corinthos? Had he finally cracked under the strain of everything unraveling around Willow, Wiley, and Amelia? Or was Sonny pulling strings behind the scenes, orchestrating one more move in a chess game he could no longer control? Sasha Gilmore, caught between loyalty and fear, hinted that Michael had made contact. Her unease told Jason more than words could. If Michael had reached out, it meant the walls were closing in, on his family, on Willow, and on the lies that had somehow survived until now. Willow Tate, meanwhile, seemed poised to take a path that could redefine everything. Emotionally drained, she voiced her wish to end the custody war, a war she now saw as more damaging than protective. But her intentions, noble as they were, clashed with Drew Quartermain's agenda. Drew, ever calculating, advised strategy where Willow craved peace. The tug of war between heart and logic left Willow vulnerable. Her promise to protect the children was genuine, but in Drew's hands, it might become weaponized. Her desire to compromise could play right into the hands of those who viewed family not as love but leverage. Backstage, the chaos was no longer confined to secrets and scheming. Lucy Coe, once the commanding host of the nurses' ball, was buckling under pressure. Tracy Quartermain's sudden arrest had left a gaping hole in the event's leadership, and Lucy was forced to fill it while still reeling from Gio's meltdown during his second performance. Her frustration turned to fury when she discovered that Jocelyn Jacks and Trina Robinson weren't in costume. "You're supposed to be on in 5. Lucy shouted, her voice cracking with exhaustion. The girls looked stunned but remained poised. Behind their silence was a quiet understanding. Whatever Lucy was dealing with, it wasn't just wardrobe malfunctions. This was deeper. She was cracking. Rumors had already started to swirl that Trina and Jocelyn were prepping something unexpected, perhaps even a tribute. The crowd might yet witness something meaningful on that stage, but only if Lucy could keep herself from imploding first. As the curtain threatened to close on the most emotionally charged nurses' ball in years, one truth became clear: Port Charles would never be the same. Giovanni Palmieri, once a symbol of youthful potential, was now the fractured heart of a storm that pulled in Brook, Lynn, Dante, Sunny, and Lois. Michael's secret movements, Jason's re-entry, and Willow's emotional decisions hinted at bigger wars yet to come. And Lucy, the eternal showwoman, was hanging by a thread as she tried to keep the chaos backstage from consuming the legacy of the ball. May 23rd wasn't just another day in Port Charles. It was a day when hidden legacies surfaced, alliances fractured, and the price of silence came due. And if this was only the beginning, then Port Charles is bracing for a summer of revelations it may never recover from.